Hello everybody. I've done a video for my John Williams collection and one for my Jerry Goldsmith collection, and then you look at who else I've got and nobody else comes close really. For Williams and Goldsmith I've got more than 100, and for anybody else I've got less than 50. But the person who comes closest, rather bizarrely, is Hans Zimmer. Very divisive figure, and the current world of social media with its false polarisation of opinions wants you to either be in a Williams traditionalist camp or a Zimmer modernist camp, and never the twain shall meet. And that's silly really. I like different styles of film music. I know they're different types of composers. You can take each score on its own merits and say, I like this one, I don't like that one. So, Zimmer's fairly prolific, so there's a lot to try out. So I reckon I've got 49 by him, so that's nearly the half century. So I'll have a quick run through. Possibly the first, the earliest one, I've got just 2 or 3 on vinyl, is that which is Castaway, which actually it's got Stanley Meyer's name on it, but it does say additional music by a bunch of people, including Brian Eno and Kate Bush and Hans Zimmer. So Zimmer started off in film music, at least, as a bit of a protege of Stanley Meyer's. So that's Castaway. Then I have A World Apart, which part of his kind of, you can divide Zimmer's oeuvre up into sort of little genres, and there's a certain group that I like to call kind of world movies. So A World Apart is one aspect of that genre. I would say also Beyond Rangoon would be another part of that. I really liked Beyond Rangoon, as did I House of the Spirits. Also in that genre would be The Power of One, and perhaps The Last Samurai, which is rather good. But the other one from those early days, possibly a kind of the breakout, was Rain Man, of which I've got 2 copies. Rain Man probably led almost directly to Thelma and Louise. When the film came out, the only album was a songs album, which is pretty good, but it's not got any score on it at all. It was only quite a long time later, what was this, 2017, that Note for Note Music put out a score album for that. Yeah, so it's not bad. Co-written with Trevor Horn, really, is Toys. Not a particularly well regarded film, I don't think, but Zimmer and Trevor Horn. It's got some Enya and Grace Jones and Pat Metheny and Tori Amos and all sorts of interesting people on it. Thin Red Line is well regarded. It's a sort of a classic. Here we are. There's that kind of bunch of, starting in the early 90s and running through most of the 90s, the kind of big power, based on his rocky background, kind of action movies, which I think possibly started with Backdraft. I really liked Crimson Tide and The Rock, which as you can see, was a bit of a collaborative effort. Nick Lenny Smith, wonder what happened to him, Harry Gregson Williams and Hans Zimmer. And in the same sort of vein, you've got Broken Arrow and The Peacemaker, and they led gradually on to Black Hawk Down and Pearl Harbor and things like that. I was picking up Top Gun, but he's not involved in Top Gun, only in the sequel. Top Gun Maverick, there we are. Another collaborative thing. I mean, it's got Faltermeyer, Garver and Zimmer's names on the front, but Lorne Balfe is involved in it as well. Let's put Top Gun away. What else have I got? Of course, that was the kind of critical success, The Lion King. We've got Pirates of the Caribbean series. Its name's not technically on #1. It says music by Klaus Bodell, but it does say overproduced. By Hans Zimmer. Yeah, a lot of his stuff's overproduced. Ha 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 ha. You've got the Langdon trilogy, Da Vinci Code, Angels and Demons, Inferno. People tend to ignore or forget Zimmer's involvement in comedic stuff. You'll get your rom-coms, Green Card, because it gets animated comedies, Kung Fu Panda, obviously that's John Powell collaboration. Rango, I like Rango a lot. That's been on my MP3 player for a long time and it's great fun. Obviously the Sherlock Holmes movies. And then Oddities, An Everlasting Peace, Irish movie. How did he get involved in that? I have no idea. Bizarre. Thing about wig salesman, as far as I can tell. And Muppet Treasure Island. Obviously that's got songs as well. Barry Mann, Cynthia Weil. What an eclectic bunch of stuff. He did a Mission Impossible. Possibly not the most memorable of the Mission Impossibles. A Silence of the Lambs sequel, Hannibal. Obviously that was the other big critical and box office success, Gladiator. People tend to downplay Lisa Gerrard's input in that. And Rush was a good one. Then you've got the superhero genre. One of the Spider-Man sequels. Fancy, shiny, metallic box, fold out thing, all very sparkly. Of course the fact that it's taller than a jewel case means you can't fit it on the bloody shelves properly, but then you've got all the Batman stuff. Batman Begins, Dark Knight, Dark Knight Rises. First two of those have got James Newton Howard in them as well. A lot of people like those a lot. For me, as it goes along, when it gets, especially, you also got the Superman-y ones, Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice. The more it gets big and blah and percussion and away from what you might consider actually tuneful music, the less I like it. So I'm not a big fan of those really. But you know, your mileage may vary. You're allowed to have differing opinions. Have I gone through all of that stuff? Yes, I think I have. And then getting a little bit closer to the present. Another one that I really did like was Interstellar. Yes, I've got the big box version of Interstellar. What is in this box? You may ask if you're not familiar with it. It's got a magnetic clasp on the side. It's got 2 discs, which I think there are some tracks on there that aren't on any other versions. And then a little pocket in the top that includes the booklet. And a promotional thing about headphones, but the point about it being in a box is there's a load of little holes and some lights in it that light up, and if it's night time you can light that and it shines on the ceiling and you get star patterns on the ceiling. Very funky. And the lights are triggered by the switch in the, so that when you shut the magnetic clasp like a fridge door, it turns the lights off. That I was glad to get for a decent price, because it now goes for what you might consider silly money. What else have we got? We've got, in terms of recent ones, Dunkirk. Actually didn't really care for that. Sorry. It's obviously a collaboration with Benjamin Wallfish. You might also say it's a collaboration with Edward Elgar, because there's bits of the thing comes to life when you get Elgar, and you're gonna go. I'll tell you what I haven't got down off the shelves, which I have got. Why have I not got this down off the shelves? Is Inception. There we are. That fits in at around the Interstellar kind of time. Then we've got Blade Runner 2049. I had really high hopes for that. It's all right, but it kind of disappointed me slightly, because I loved the original, the Vangelis, so much, and I thought Zimmer and Wallfish, they should be able to recreate the feel of Vangelis, and they didn't. They made it darker and more, which is the thing, but it's not what I wanted Blade Runner to be. I wanted light and tinkly and ethereal as well, and the driving end theme was quite fun, even though it was kind of forced on Vangelis a bit. But it's a good film. It's a good film, and it's a good score, but it's not quite what I was hoping it would be. No Time to Die. It's fine. look, I've only had this, what, a year and a half, and digipacks, they just scuff and break in the way that jewel cases don't. And then the most recent two, I suppose, are Wonder Woman 1984 and Dune. Very different. Dune, very good film. Yeah, didn't really do it for me. This one, this is good fun. I liked this one. This felt more like these things, you know. But the reason I've lumped these two together at the end is not to do with Hans or his music at all, but to do with the record labels releasing. Oh look, they're both Water Tower. Hey Water Tower, pressed CDs please, not CDRs. I received these things, you get it, it's a CDR, and as well as the disc being at the same time as that, they've obviously done the booklets with digital print, and sometimes the stapling isn't straight, and sometimes the printing's a little bit wonky, and you pick the thing up and you take it out of its packet and you think, have I got a bootleg here? Is this genuine? And it is, it's just a little bit under par in quality, print quality, production quality, which is a shame. I mean, I suppose I should be grateful that I've got a physical release at all, but you think, well, if I wanted a CDR, I could buy a digital download and burn it myself. Anyway, there we are. So, Hans Zimmer, 49 things in the collection, some of which I like an awful lot, some of which don't do much for me, even though they've been critically lauded by some other people, and many of which are somewhere in between. So to sum up, the ones I really do like, the early 1990s things like Crimson Tide and The Rock, Rango, Interstellar, yeah, those kind of things. Oh, on the Pirates front, the fourth of the Pirates CDs, this one here, Stranger Tides, it's got 18 tracks, of which the first 11 are the actual score, and then numbers 12 to 18 are just kind of like EDM. It's like remixes. It says remixes, but a lot of the time you can't recognise the score in them at all. I played them through once. A lot of them, it's like, this is really annoying, skip. This is really annoying, skip. If I wanted an EDM album, I'd have bought an EDM album. I bought a film soundtrack. Still, there we are. Hans Zimmer. Who else have I got more than 30 or so of? Elfman, Bernstein, Barry, Morricone. Anybody else? Not sure. Probably that's about it. Anyway, on the subject of that's about it, let's knock this video on the head, shall we? Stay fresh, cheese bags. Very quick edit, one that I forgot about in that list, but I've definitely had since 2014, is of course Black Rain. So that is just the original Virgin release that's got a bunch of songs and then a suite of 4 or 5 tracks. The suite is Yeah, it adds up to about 20 minutes, but that's Hans Zimmer as well. I only remembered that because of Soundtracks with Birdman with his watch along of the film the other day. But yeah, for some reason I'd forgotten I'd got that. It is Wednesday the 20th of July, the day after the UK had its record highest temperatures. We hit, or parts of the country hit 40 degrees yesterday for the first time ever, which is something in the region of 104, 105 Fahrenheit if you like old money. Thankfully it's slightly cooler today. Still got this nice ice cold. Orange juice to swig or no. Why am I telling you all this? Well, because I've had some deliveries. This one appears to be UK domestic mail. Let's see what I've got there. Let's try again with the tear strip. There we go. Aha! Something I've had on my Discogs wish list for a while. It's usually rather expensive, but somebody was selling it for an actual decent price, and that is Bernard Herrmann's Christmas Carol and A Child is Born on Critzerland. Let's see if I can break my way through. That's still sealed, so it's as new. There we are. That's that. What have we got? We've got 8-page booklet with text by Bruce Kimmel. Nice to have that. And the other one, well, the other one has come a little bit further. It's come from Russia. Was worried that getting things from Russia these days might not get through, but it did take a while, but it's got to me eventually. This is all wrapped up in bubble wrap. La Tenda Rosa, or the Red Tent. I shall not attempt to pronounce the Russian title. That has got 2 versions of the score. One of which is the internationally used version of the score by Ennio Morricone, and the other is the Russian one by Alexander Zatsepin. That's also still sealed as well, so get my way into that. Yeah, so that gives us that. Tenda Rosa. Booklet for that is fairly minimal, it's just a single sheet, and it's all in Russian, so I can't really read that. But hey. Alright, that's all for today's deliveries.